The whole stage persona is pretty angry, angst-ridden, frustrated. I mean, you see the world for what it is. I mean, did you ever have second thoughts about bringing a child into the world the way it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I really can't describe what changed our attitude so fast. I think, I really was a lot more negative and angry and everything else a few years ago, but that had a lot to do with not having a mate, not having a steady girlfriend and stuff like that. So that was one of the main things that was bothering me, that I wouldn't admit at the time, So now that I've found that, the world seems a lot better for some reason, it really does change your attitude about things. 4 years ago I would have said, the classic thing, like, how dare someone bring a child into this life, it's just completely a terrible way to go, and, the world's going to explode any day and stuff like that, but once you fall in love, it's a bit different.
I don't want to know about it. Stop. George and I are not in the best love situations right now, so we'll stop talking about that. We'll change the subject. What I want to talk to you about.
I'm not boasting about it. It's just something
nice.
Really
it's really nice
weird.
that you can talk about it. That you have something like that to talk about. It's nice.
You hold this for a while? You mind? Feeling a little weak.
That this whole grunge thing, that this, in quotations, grunge, all I want to know is, where did the term come from?
I have no idea. I think some of the rumors are that Jonathan Poneman said it one time sarcastically, and it just caught on.
What's that?
He's one of the head honchos at Sub Pop Records. But, no one set out to market this music as that. That's what happens when the media catches on. They have to call it something. I like it as much as new wave. I would have been proud to be a new waver, 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, we were about the same age. I was into new wave. Absolutely. Do you think you have some of the same? Is there anything the same between your music and new wave?
I think so.
Like what?
Well, new wave was just a progression from punk rock and a mutation of punk rock, and it was more commercial and more palatable, It had, punk rock roots, and it was easier to swallow for the media and middle America and the middle of the world, and it's just, that's what I kind of think about our music.
Are you worried about a Nirvana backlash?
Hasn't that already been over with? Hasn't that already happened? I don't know. Sure. No. I don't know.
Okay. What else I want to talk to you about?
But we're getting more new wave as the days go by. I think we're going to reinvent new wave and bring back breakdancing. I'd really like to bring back new wave and breakdancing. Meld it to something. I don't know. That's what our new music is sounding like. We're using a lot more effects boxes, and we haven't resorted to skinny ties, but I think our music's, this sounds like the closing of the chapter of the formula we've been using, It's like grunge is really kind of boring for us, It's something we can't deny, and we're not going to stop playing the old songs live. Whoops. And, but, our tastes are just changing so rapidly that we're really experimenting with a lot of stuff, and it might get too indulgent and be really embarrassing for the next album, but we can't put out another album, and this is just like the last chapter of 3-chord grunge music for us. And it was an easy thing to do and a safe thing to do because we knew it's still popular, but we had to get it out of our systems.
How come you are so nice, and you seem so comfortable with yourself? Something must have really happened in the last couple of years. Is it just falling in love?
No.
What happened?
I've always been a nice guy.
Maybe you were afraid to show it before. How's that?
Well, I don't know. You've never met me before.
I never met you before, but I know that other people who have had the opportunity to interview, and they said, oh, he hates doing interviews. He's not going to want to talk about anything.
Well,
I said, well, whatever. Who knows? And you're just like exactly the opposite of.
It just depends on what mood I'm in, really. Yeah, I'm kind of a moody person, and a lot of times when someone has had the chance to talk to me, I've probably been on tour, or I've probably gone through an exhaustive time where I've talked about myself for hours and hours, and this week I haven't had to talk about myself very much, so
lucky
probably
me.
more cooperative.
I think one of the interesting things about Nirvana that you don't really talk about that much is that you're very concerned about sexism. I like that. That's good. So how do you make people aware of that problem?
By writing songs as blunt as Rape Me. Having to resort to doing something like that is almost embarrassing because people didn't understand when we wrote a song like About a Girl or Polly, and having to explain that and having misunderstandings about it, I decided to write Rape Me in a way that was just so blunt and obvious that it's like no one could deny it, no one could read into it any other way, although some people have actually, because some of the lyrics in it, some people have thought that maybe it has something to do with my disgust with the media and the way they've treated us and stuff like that, but it's not true. That's not what the song's about at all. It's just my way of, in a sarcastic way almost, of like just saying how obvious do we have to be, And I guess we don't talk about those kind of things that that are really important to us because I don't want to be thought of as like nothing more than a PC band, I mean, we're entertainers. That's what music is, and so it's really hard to step over the lines.
It's that you have so much power because that camera's on you, and you can use it.
Yeah, well, we try to use our power. I mean, we really have been effective in certain ways, like being associated with this organization called FAIR, and I can't remember it right now because I have a mental block of exactly what it stands for, but it's something like, I can't remember. but they're an organization who looks at the injustices that are they look at the details that surrounds certain issues and certain stories that have been reported in magazines and newspapers like USA Today, who tend to look over a lot of the facts, and they're pretty much a leftist organization that tries to protect people in certain areas, and they supposedly try as hard as they can to deliver the truth. And so, we've done benefits like that for like No on 9 benefits to try to stop Portland's anti-gay laws that they were trying to pass, and we did a Bosnian benefit and stuff like that. And it doesn't seem like much, but we raised like $50,000 for the Bosnian rape victims, and that's a lot more than we could have done griping about it and talking about it in interviews and like maybe putting out a fanzine. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff like that, but we're using the tools that we have, and we're being effective as much as we can. But we still don't want to be too political at the same time, because it's just kind of embarrassing to do that. Or you get a lot of ridicule for it.
Yeah, but you're doing what you believe in, and that's the most important thing.
Well, it's hard not